you all who are watching this online for joining us today. This is our 5 questions, 5 answers series. My name is Amanda Lubinski, and I'm the managing editor here at the Courier-Tribune. And today with me is Dr. Adiga of Liberty Hospital. Not only is Dr. Adiga an infectious disease specialist, but he's also the president and CEO of our publicly elected hospital group. So Dr. Adiga, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Amanda, for having me here.
Thank you. So, Dr. Adiga, for folks who might not know you or everything that Liberty Hospital does, if you would please, let's start out by telling folks a little bit more about yourself and the role Liberty Hospital plays in our community.
Yeah, I'm an infectious disease physician, as you mentioned. So I started out here as a physician about 20 years ago and then went into administration a few years back. And I've been the CEO for the last couple of years. And as you know, Liberty Hospital has been here for well over 50 years now. And we are committed to, the health and welfare of our community and working hard towards it. And we just celebrated our 50th year anniversary just last week. So we are happy to be here for the community.
Well, congrats on that anniversary. And so for folks who might not know, there's the hospital board there as well as Liberty Hospital. So what would you say the overall mission and goal is of Liberty Hospital?
Yeah, so this is a hospital governed by an elected board of trustees. And when they established this hospital 50 years ago, the goal was to make sure that the hospital provides for the health and welfare of the community around here. And that goal has not changed. And over the years, we've continued to grow and continue to be here for the area that's been growing tremendously around us. And we continue to do that. And Northland is one of the fastest growing in the state, and be able to provide good access to high quality healthcare. That's our goal, and we want to continue to do that.
Okay, so what are some of the most impactful things that Liberty Hospital did in 2023 to reach that goal?
Yeah, so the most important thing that we've been trying to do, as you probably know, a lot of the hospitals in our circumstances of our size and independent nature across the country are going through sort of a soul searching. How do we continue to exist and continue to serve our communities? As a part of the process, we decided to look for a bigger partner who can help us in achieve our goals. So last year, we embarked on a very open, very elaborate and purposeful process, looking for a best partner who understands us and who has the same sort of goals and objectives that we have and gels with our culture. So it took several months and started with a very wide-ranging search across the nation. And we, at the end of it, we ended up with the University of Kansas Health System as our best partner going forward. And we did that by October or so and signed a non-binding letter of intent. And we're in the process now of due diligence and working out the definitive agreement in the coming months. So that will ensure that the quality of care that's provided here will continue. That'll ensure our employees continue to remain employed, and all the service lines that we care about are continued here, right here locally. So that's what we worked on in 2023, and that'll continue into the 2024.
Okay. So would you say that's one of the biggest goals for the organization in 2024, or are there some other goals as well?
Yeah, I mean, that is the biggest goal. Essentially, that serves the purpose of all other goals, which is essentially providing the healthcare, high quality healthcare here. And, we've seen in healthcare world, there are a lot of different important items that come up as we do the community health needs assessment. And there is, of course, issues with access to healthcare in the Northland as it grows. I think with this partnership, we'll be able to provide better access, whether it's primary care, whether it's tertiary care, right here locally without having to travel. And I think that's one of the biggest goals. And of course, healthcare equity. We do a lot of work already in terms of providing uncompensated care, and that will continue. Those kind of community service that we provide will continue, and we work with our partners, Northland Healthcare Access and other partners that we have. We'll continue to work with them to bring those kind of services here and make sure that people don't have to travel, and that's extremely difficult for a lot of people.
Well, Dr. Adiga, thank you for that and for that brief introduction. And again, thank you for taking time to join us today. As you know, the Courier-Tribune's goal in 2024 is to kind of understand our role in the community like never before. So our 5 questions, 5 answers series is an opportunity for us to ask folks like yourself, stakeholders, the same 5 major questions to get a robust perspective. And so we chose to have a conversation with you today, sir, because of your expertise in the healthcare industry. So the first major question that we have is really the most important, and that's, what are the most pressing challenges facing our community at the local level that you see right now?
Yeah, of course. There are plenty of challenges, and we look at it through our healthcare perspective mainly, because that's the industry that we work mostly in. And as we all know, this is a growing community, and there will be a lot of challenges, a lot of needs in there. In the healthcare sector, certainly access is one of the biggest concerns. And as I talked about, whether it's access to primary care or even high quality tertiary care, and that becomes an issue, especially for people who are disproportionately affected, and there is certainly issues with healthcare equity, and we will have to continue to look for solutions to that with our partners, whether it's in healthcare sector, whether it is in government, whether it is in other areas as well. The same kind of challenges, I believe, are there in other areas too, whether employment and education, transportation. Those are the areas certainly our growing communities will be looking at.
So I appreciate that. And if you could you elaborate a little bit more on that, how you think that these challenges impact the different demographic groups in our community?
Yeah, so I think the most affected would be the ones who struggle in terms of transportation. That's become one of the biggest concerns that we hear, whether it is going to a doctor's appointment, whether it's going to grocery shopping. I think transportation becomes an issue for people who don't have their own modes of transportation. And of course, there are people in the community who do have issues with, for example, elderly in terms of their health care and their living situations. That certainly becomes an issue. And access to healthy food. That is another area that has come up. And I think Northland Healthcare Access, which we are part of, are certainly looking at solutions to those.
Okay. So switching gears a little bit and kind of thinking more about the media landscape that we find ourselves in, considering that evolving media landscape, what role do you see us local newspapers playing in the community 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now?
Yeah, I presume it's the same all across the nation now in the media landscape, especially since crowdsourcing of information has become a commonplace through social media. Unfortunately, as we all know, that crowdsourcing makes people lose objectivity. And I feel that loud voices tend to go further instead of the facts. And that's where I think I feel the local journalism becomes especially important. And I do think in the evolving media landscape, somehow we need to support the local newspapers who can bring that kind of objectivity into conversation, whether it is spread through social media or not. I think having people with the actual knowledge, actual facts, be able to spread that information and make people trust them more so than the loud voices in the social media. I do believe that's important.
I appreciate that. Thank you for that feedback. So are there emerging trends that maybe you all are seeing at the hospital within your communications department, or how you all are even communicating in regards to healthcare? Emerging trends that you think folks like those of us in the media could maybe adapt or should embrace?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a secret now that vast majority of people go towards social media for a lot of that information, whether it is the Facebooks of the world, or even digital platforms of the actual newspapers. Paywalls are hard to be accepted by a lot of people, and that's probably where even in the industries for us, from the traditional media like TV and the newspapers, I think it's moving more and more towards the internet-based social media.
Okay. So, Dr. Adiga, in your opinion, what role should our newspaper here at the Courier-Tribune play in promoting civic participation and community involvement?
I think you guys do a very good job. Let me tell you that. And Kelly is one of the important reporters that we witness in varieties of events that we have. And she's been, very objective. I think a lot of community events, whether it is local elections or, for example, maybe there is an initiative petitions that might be going around. Those kind of things, whether it is in education, taxation, governance, healthcare, wherever that is, I think getting yourself involved and providing the objective information for the people who go to those elections, I think would be helpful. I think that's an important role I think newspapers like yours would certainly play. I don't think the national media would be any interested in what happens locally.
I appreciate that feedback, and thank you for the compliment for our staff. We certainly appreciate that as well. So are there community events or activities that you think that we should cover to better connect with residents? Is there something we can do to better improve whether what we're doing with the hospital or other community groups?
Yeah, certainly. I think from the hospital's perspective and in the healthcare arena, there are a lot of things the public should be educated upon. I think health education, we do feel is an important area that newspapers such as yours could really play a big part in. We saw that during the pandemic and how people could be, informed by unrealistic and untruthful information and get carried away. I think if newspapers such as yours, partner with healthcare organizations like us or the health department in spreading a lot more truthful, factual knowledge around, that would certainly be helpful. And there are always events that are ongoing, whether it is supported by the hospital or a major organization such as American Cancer Society or American Heart Association. They have events, whether it is a stroke walk or breast cancer awareness, things like that, and highlighting those and bringing factual information to the public and generating more interest certainly would be very helpful.
I agree with that. I think, we have a lot of different walks and things that take place in the Northland, especially, the Luminary Walk and things that happen with cancer in particular, like you mentioned. So I certainly think that there's room for improvement there. So I appreciate that feedback. I think there's always some good events going on, especially around the Liberty area. We have a lot of runs and walks and things that get people out in support of those things. So I appreciate that.
Liberty Hospital 5K and a half marathon is going to be the first in the Kansas City area every season, actually, to start. So that'll be a good one.
That is correct. And it's got a great course.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Dr. Adiga, considering that the current economic landscape, now switching to the economic landscape from the media landscape, how do you think our newspaper can support local businesses and contribute to the economic growth in the community? You touched on economic growth a little bit from the healthcare perspective. So how do you think we can better support local businesses?
Yeah, I mean, I think as the community has grown, there are a lot of local businesses that are benefiting from it and continuing to grow as well, as more businesses are brought to our area as well. I do believe, I mean, just to give give our own example, we employ well over 2,000 people here. And the efforts that we are putting in, we're one of the biggest employers here, and the efforts that we put in to continue to stay in business and to have all this partnership that I was talking about, that helps us remain in business here and continue to employ those people as well. Not only that employment benefit is there to the community, but also as we pick up projects and do things, we will be employing, we will be having relationships with local businesses to provide for those kind of services. And I think highlighting the local businesses about what they can do and making sure that larger employers do use those local businesses for partnerships, I think would certainly help. And I'm sure a lot of smaller businesses certainly would appreciate that as well. Highlighting them in the newspaper articles or anything that you guys put out certainly would help them.
So now you touched on this a little bit when you were talking about kind of Liberty Hospital and its goals and some of the challenges it's faced. So are there specific challenges that either local businesses or employers like Liberty Hospital as a major employer are facing that we at the newspaper can help address?
Yeah, so one of the biggest challenges that we faced post-pandemic is labor shortage. And certainly we struggled through, for the next year or two in finding talent to be able to come and work for us. And the same thing has happened with other businesses as well. Finding enough talent from other areas to bring here and to have them come and live in this area too. The more you live here, more chances are you'd rather work here rather than having to travel. And highlighting what is the benefit of working here and how good the work culture is and environment is. All of those kind of things will help in recruiting talent to this area. And of course, highlighting, living around this community, how good it is, how good the schools are, how good the living circumstances are. That would really help bring people to move in here and get employed here. So I think labor force is the biggest area that everybody struggles with, and it's not over yet.
I think that's a great point and great feedback. And certainly, labor and staffing is something that healthcare is not alone in having to deal with. Whether it's us in the media or any other industry, I think that's certainly an area that could see improvement and help across the board. So I appreciate that feedback. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Dr. Adiga, that was all the questions I had for you today. You blasted right through those nicely. So thank you for sharing and being part of our 5 questions, 5 answers series. Before we leave, though, as you know, we're putting together a community survey for the public at large as well to coincide with the community conversations. So is there a question that we can ask the community in that upcoming survey that Liberty Hospital would like to know the answer to?
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of know the answer to this, but I'd like to really see how important it is to our community to have a high quality tertiary health care that's available locally right here if you didn't have to travel, say, downtown or somewhere far off. How important is it? I think that would be kind of interesting to know because that is at the heart of what we are trying to do over the next few years.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you so much again for participating with us, Dr. Adiga. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.